इतना मलिन हो चुका है
कि रसिकों द्वारा यह जानने पर भी कि तुम अपनी भुजाओं को पसारे अपनी वात्सल्यमयी दृष्टि से हमारी प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हो। तुम्हारी शरण में नहीं आ पाता। हे अशरण शरण तुम्हारी कृपा के बिना तुम्हें कोई जान भी तो नहीं सकता। ऐसी स्थिति में हे अकारण करुण पतित पावन श्री कृष्ण तुम अपनी अहेतुकी कृपा से ही हमको अपना लो। हे करुणा सागर हम भुक्ति मुक्ति आदि कुछ नहीं मांगते। हमें तो केवल तुम्हारे निष्काम प्रेम की ही एकमात्र चाह है। हे नाथ अपने विरत की ओर देखकर इस अधम को निराश ना करो। हे जीव
Develop these qualities through good thinking and good actions. These qualities that you worked hard to develop in this life, that's how you're going to start in the next life, with them developed to the same level that you had reached in this life. And if, because you adopt some nihilistic philosophy that none of this matters anyway, just eat, drink, and be merry, beg, borrow, steal, but just go ahead and enjoy life to the fullest for as long as you live, because none of this matters anyway, then you're developing the rajas and tamas qualities of your mind, and then you'll start the next life worse off than you were in this life. I'm not even talking about physical situation. I'm talking about the mental situation. Physical punishment will also come for our bad actions that we do in this life. But in addition to that, we've degraded our own personality and will continue in that direction in the next life. So we should use the understanding that all of this is temporary to give us courage. All of this is temporary, so why should I let fear stop me from doing the right thing? Why should I let fear stop me from following the path of bhakti? Why should I let fear stop me from trying my best? A lot of times we say, oh, I don't even want to try. Why? Because I'm afraid of failing. You're going to die anyway. What does it matter if you fail once or twice or 100 times in your life? Use that knowledge that all of this will be gone one day as to give you courage. What does it matter if I fail? I should at least try. In the end, it's not going to matter whether I failed or succeeded. At the time of my death, it will matter, how did I develop my inner courage? How did I develop my qualities by being fearless? When Shri Krishna described the Daivi Gunas, the positive godly qualities in the Gita, the very first one he referenced was Abhayam. Fearlessness was the very first Daivi Guna that he described. Because if we have this fearlessness, then we will not let fear of anything stop us from doing the right thing or from doing a devotional thing, or at least from trying. So when such things happen, blackouts or pandemics or whatever it may be, these are the ways that we should bring the philosophy into our life and use this philosophy to inspire us on this path. We should never use it as an excuse to be lazy or not to do something right. We should always use it to inspire us to do good things and to do devotion. So I'm going to switch gears here because I promised you a story about Uddhav and Parikshit. But before I do that, does anyone have any questions on this philosophy? It was a little bit technical here this morning. Anything you want to ask about or you need clarification on? Yes? Ahankar. Oh, okay, yeah. So the memories, even in this life, are stored in our subconscious mind. If we're just, let's kind of change the model for a minute. Let's just think of our mind, and our mind holds all of our memories. And we have our conscious mind here, and we have our subconscious mind, which we kind of skim the surface of when we're in a sleeping state. We're actually in our subconscious mind. But below that, there are many more layers of the mind. We only probably live in the top 20% of our mind, and the bottom 80%, if you think of it as the ocean, we're on the surface of the ocean or just below the surface. But the ocean goes much deeper. So deeper and deeper in our mind, all those memories are stored, both from this life and previous lives. So chronologically speaking, the farther back the memory, in this life, the deeper the memory is stored, and the farther back you go in lifetimes, the most recent lifetimes are closer to the surface, and if you keep going further and further back, they're deeper and deeper and deeper. So our conscious mind has access to some of the memories of this life. We can't even remember everything from this life. And previous lifetimes are stored even deeper than that. So all the memories are there in our subconscious and unconscious layers of the mind, but our conscious mind can't access it. The memories are there.
And so, if you talk just a little bit more about nazar, then what does that help us do? Just help us realize who we are?
It's really, see, you only have one mind, but we call it different names. You can say there are different aspects or different facets of your mind, but really it's just your mind. But when your mind is in your mind feels emotions, right? And feels impulses to do something or desires. So in that case, we call the mind man, the emotional mind. But the very same mind has the ability to analyze and make decisions and understand concepts. That's your intellectual mind, the buddhi. It's not two separate things. Emotional mind and intellectual mind are not two separate things. It's two separate functions of the same mind. So sometimes we split it and say, okay, this is my man, this is my buddhi. My buddhi is supposed to control my man. With my intellect, I should control my emotional mind, which just wants and wants and wants, but the buddhi should decide this is right, this is wrong. Then you have your ahankar, so your mind also has the ability to realize I am. We have the feeling I am, I exist. So that's also a function your mind performs. So we call that the ahankar, but it's really just your mind. Yes?
I just have a question about the mind you're talking. So you're talking about like a past life, or what if, like you said, even in a dream, maybe what if in a dream you see that you have a dream, and it actually happens like 6 months later,
Mm-hmm.
same thing. So what is that kind of mind, or what is that?
So mostly dreams are just the mind letting off steam. However, the mind is also, initially the mind is made of the same energy that this world was manifested out of a very subtle energy, and so it unfolded from extremely subtle to less subtle, more gross, more gross. So one of these steps is a type of, it's like all of our minds belong to this subtle energy of Maya. And in this space of Maya, there is also like certain things are destined to happen according to our past actions. So those images of those events to come in the future, if it's destined, those images are already there in a certain layer of Maya. And our mind is also connected to that layer. So certain people, psychics, actually, some of them may be faking, but there are people who have the ability to perceive some event that's going to come in the future. So this is very rare, and there's not much value to it, because even if you know something's going to happen, you can't stop it if it's destined. So you're just likely to start worrying about it. But it may also happen in a dream, that someone dreams something that's going to happen. You shouldn't pay it much mind. It doesn't change what we have to do. We have to develop the positive qualities of our personality. We have to do bhakti. What's going to happen is going to happen. So it's best not to strive to know what's in the future, what's in our destiny. And if you dream something that comes to pass, so be it. It's fine. Don't give it much importance. Yes?
Can you explain five prana? Prana, you said, is 18 elements for the Sushruta.
Yeah, so the pran is the life energy of the body, what animates the body. Although the soul is the original source of that animation, but it's like the electricity that makes an electrical appliance function. Think of it that way.
You said 5.
Yeah, so there's 5 different circuits in your body through which that life force flows. Really, it's stored in the form of your sanskars. So every thought you have creates a very subtle image in the mind, which is stored there. That's a sanskar. So what was the quality of that thought? What was the intensity of that thought? Accordingly, the sanskar also has an intensity and a quality. And then if you keep building up more sanskars of that same type, that sanskar gets more and more powerful. That's how our personality develops. That's how we develop our personality traits. Those sanskars are the traits of our personality. So if somebody is trying hard to be kind to others, they're developing that kindness sanskar. If somebody is doing rup dhyan, they're developing devotional sanskars. If somebody is serving their divine guru, they're developing more devotional sanskars. All of that makes up your personality. So our likes and dislikes, our skills, what we call God-given skills, those are because of sanskars, actually. Our tendencies, our attractions, what are we more attracted to, what are we repulsed by, all of that is because of our sanskars. What good or bad qualities do we have in our personality? Those are our sanskars. Yes?
So what is the easy way to break those sanskars? I know my sanskars that they are bad.
No, everybody has good and bad sanskars because we've all done devotion in our past life and we've all done a lot of worldly things. So we all see sanskars come, the past sanskars come and affect our mind and then pass away. So you can't, see, upon God realization, all your past sanskars are burnt up. All your karma is burnt up. But until then, you keep undergoing the effect of these sanskars. So it affects your mood. It doesn't control what you think. You can't say, oh, I had a bad sanskar, that's why I punched you. No, okay, you were in a bad mood because of your bad sanskar, but you still didn't have to punch me, right? So the sanskars affect your mood. Oh, I'm not feeling like going to the mandir this morning. Why not? Bad sanskar. Oh no, I really feel like doing devotion today. Good sanskar. But you can still change your mind either way, but the sanskar affects your mood. Those keep coming, but you can reduce the impact of those sanskars by doing more devotion. The more your mind is in Hari Guru, the less effect the sanskar or impact the sanskar has on you. Okay, so I told you a lot about the Bhagavatam, and I also told you that King Parikshit had listened to the Bhagavatam from Shukdev Ji, and this was the first public recitation of the Bhagavatam in 3072 BCE. But in fact, before that, Uddhav Ji had told the Bhagavatam in Braj at Kusum Sarovar, but Parikshit missed out on that. So you remember I told you before Shri Krishna left the earth planet, he had told Arjun, he instructed him to bring all the queens of Dwarika to Braj. And he assigned his great, or actually Parikshit later assigned Shri Krishna's great-grandson Vajranabh to rule over the Mathura area, the Braj area. And later, with the grace of Maharshi Shandilya, they were able to reestablish all the Leela places of Braj, even though all the gopis and Gwalbals had returned to the divine abode with Radha Krishna. So Braj was bereft of human habitation. But King Vajranabh, he reestablished those Leela places, and Parikshit brought people from Hastinapur to repopulate the Braj area. So even though Radha Krishna had left, now people started living in Braj again and knowing all the Leela places. And of course, Braj is never bereft of Rasik saints, because that is the epicenter of Raganuga Bhakti in the world. So one day, all the queens, Krishna's 16,108 queens, they were living there in Braj. And all of them were missing Krishna a lot, so they were very distressed. But they noticed that one of the queens, Kalindi, you know, River Yamuna, one of her names is Kalindi, and she's actually a divine goddess, and she also came as one of Shri Krishna's queens. So they noticed that she was not seeming to be so distressed. She was always looking very blissful. So they went to her, all the other queens, and they asked, what's your secret? So she said, you know, Krishna and Radha are one and the same. There's no difference between Radha and Krishna. And all of us, we are all ansh of Radha. Remember I was telling you about Satchit Anand and Sandhini Shakti, Samvit Shakti, Hladini Shakti, and the essence of all of that is Prema Shakti, the divine love power. And that divine love power actually, Radharani is the personified essence of that divine love power. So she is the source of all the divine powers. So that's why all these queens said, we are all her ansh. Sansha, Kamala, Shailaputri. Radhikopanishad says even Lakshmi and Durga, Parvati, they're all Radha's ansh. So Kalindi was saying, we're all ansh of Radharani, and I, in my mind, just do seva to Radha all day long. That's why I'm not distressed by Krishna not being here. So she said, if you all want to get over this feeling of missing Krishna, Uddhav can help you. We need to have Uddhav Ji's Satsang. So to get Uddhav Ji's Satsang, we have to go to Kusum Sarovar and do a big Keertan Mahotsav. So they were thinking, why do we have to go to Kusum Sarovar? Uddhav ji is supposed to be living in Badrinath. When Shri Krishna was leaving the earth, before he left, he met with Uddhav. And he told him, go and live in Badrik Ashram, and whoever goes over there, just help explain philosophy to them, help them on their path to God. However, Uddhav stayed on the earth planet in another form as well. Krishna had graced Uddhav. Some of you may remember that he had sent him from Mathura to meet the gopis in Braj. And when he met the gopis, he realized that their knowledge and their experience of the divine bliss was many levels above his. So, surrendering his own knowledge and his own experience of Brahmanand, he surrendered to the gopis and received Krishna's Premanand. So he also got to experience the divine love of Krishna. And then he begged Krishna, Asamaho charana renu jushamahansyam vrindavani kimapi gulmalataushadhinam yadustyajan svajanamarya pathancha hitva bhejurmukunda padavim shruti bhirvimrigyam. Bhagavatam. When Uddhav went back to Mathura, he asked a favor from Krishna. Can I please be born in any form as a flowering plant or a flowering vine or something in Vrindavan, in the Braj area, so I can always get the foot dust of the gopis when they walk by? So Krishna granted his wish. And Uddhav, although in one form he was living in Badrinath, in his other form he was living as a flowering vine in the forest at Kusum Sarovar. So Kusum Sarovar is right next to Govardhan Hill. So you can say Uddhav was living on Govardhan Hill right next to Kusum Sarovar in the form of a plant. So Kalindi knew this. She said, let's go over there and we'll do Keertan and Uddhav will come and join us. So they did that. They told Vajranabh and Parikshit about this. So they got excited too and they told everybody. So everybody, all the devotees came and went to Kusum Sarovar and they started doing Keertan. So Uddhav ji just came walking out of the dense creepers and vines and appeared before them. And he said, I'm so pleased with your Keertan and I'm so happy to hear you chanting Krishna's name. So they told him about the queen's experience and their desire to experience Krishna's closeness again, that they were missing him. So Uddhav said, you know, before I left the earth planet, Shri Krishna had told me the philosophy of the Bhagavatam, and he had also sent me to Badrik Ashram to live up there. But I had asked him that, what about your devotees who are going to be missing you? What will they do? And he said, I'm putting myself in the Bhagavatam, so they can reach me through the Bhagavatam. They can feel my presence through the Bhagavatam. So Uddhav said, in fact, I heard the Bhagavatam for a whole month, a 1-month recitation of the Bhagavatam, and it was because of that that I got to become Krishna's friend in Mathura. And then he sent me to Braj to meet the gopis. And then when he was leaving, he told me the philosophy of Bhagavatam and also graced me to be able to live here at Govardhan in the form of a flowering plant. So now I'm going to recite the Bhagavatam to you for a whole month, and then you'll get to experience Krishna's closeness again. But then he gave instructions to Parikshit. He said, look, Kali Yuga has begun. Because Kali Yuga began the moment Krishna and Radha left the earth in 3102 BCE. February 17th, 3102 BCE. That is the date that they left the earth, and from that moment, Kali Yuga began. So although at the time of this happening, when Uddhav was talking to the queens, there had only been a few years had elapsed of Kali Yuga, and yet Kali Yuga was already starting to take hold in the minds of people. So he instructed King Parikshit that you go out and subdue Kali, because Kali has a personified form. So you go and control Kali, subdue Kali, so that he doesn't cause any disruption in our Bhagavat Satsang that we're going to be having. So Parikshit said, if I have to go do that, I'm going to miss the recitation of the Bhagavatam. Uddhav said, don't you worry. You'll get to hear it from Shukdev ji not too far ahead, not too long from now. So Parikshit went out and he actually did Digvijay. He conquered all the lands and he became the single ruling emperor. And in the process of that, he caught up with Kali. Kali was in the form of a person, a man, and he was pretending to be a king. And when he saw him, he was he was kicking a bull and a cow. The bull is dharma personified, and the cow is the earth personified. The earth suffers a lot in Kali Yuga under the wrong actions of the people. And dharma, also, almost nobody follows it in Kali Yuga. So Parikshit came, grabbed hold of Kali, said, you leave these alone, Prithvi and Dharma. You leave them alone. So he was getting ready to kill Kali. But Kali begged, oh no, please, I'll follow any agya. You just give me somewhere to live. I'll do whatever you say, but please don't kill me. So Parikshit said, okay, I'm giving you a few places to reside, but you leave every other thing alone, okay? He said, I'm giving you lies and deceitfulness. That's one place you can live. I'm giving you alcohol and intoxicants. That's another place you can live. I'm giving you hinsa, meaning violence and cruelty. You can also stay there. So Kali Yuga said, can I have one more place? He said, okay, I'm giving you gold as well. You can stay in gold. And lust. So you have 5 places you can live. And then he let Kali go. So later on, I told you the story of Narad meeting Bhakti and her 2 sons, Gyan and Vairagya. So at that time, when Naradji had told her that, oh yes, this happened to your sons because Kali Yuga is taking hold and nobody's following Bhakti, let alone Gyan and Vairagya. So Bhakti Mahadevi had complained at that time to Naradji that why did Parikshit let Kali live? If this is the effect of Kali Yuga, he should have killed him right then, saved us all the trouble. Naradji said, no, you know why Parikshit let Kali live? Because Kaler dosha nidhe rajan nastihyeko mahan gunah Keertanadeva krishnasya mukta sangah param vrajet. Bhagavatam. In Kali Yuga, although Kali Yuga is the reservoir of all bad things and wrong behaviors and bad qualities, yet there is one good quality of Kali Yuga that overcomes all of these. In Kali Yuga, you can reach Shri Krishna and you can overcome your attachments and your Mayic bondage simply by doing Keertan of Krishna's name. Krite yadhyayato vishnum tretayam yajato makhai dvapare paricharyayam kalau tadhari kirtanat. Bhagavatam. In other yugs, a lot more is required of you. In Satyug, you have to do great tapasya, go to the jungle to practice devotion, not living in the family. In Treta Yuga, you have to do great yagyas. in order to attach your mind to God. In Dwapar Yuga, you have to do very extensive pujas. But in Kali Yuga, none of that is required. No physical requirement. Just do Keertan of God's name while doing Rup Dhyan. So in Kali Yuga, God realization is so easy. Reaching Krishna is so easy compared to the other yugas. In Kali Yuga, the same amount of effort gives you a lot more result. One time Rup Goswami described that in Satyug, if someone were to do 12 years of sincere effort, renouncing the world and doing devotion to God all the time, 12 years of effort, how much benefit they would get would equal the benefit they would get in Treta Yuga if they did 1 year of devotion. So there's a compensation, there's an adjustment, because it's more difficult to focus your mind on God as you go down through the yugs. So there's a compensation, there's an adjustment in the benefit that we get. In Dwapar Yuga, in 1 month of effort, you would get the same benefit that you get in 1 year in Treta Yuga and 12 years in Satyug. And in Kali Yuga, 24 hours. 1 day of effort is equal to 12 years of effort in Satyug. So God realization is like on sale in Kali Yuga. For much less effort, you get the same amount of benefit. So that's why great souls desire to be born in Kali Yuga. When it's Satyug, they're saying, man, this is a lot of work. I can't wait until Kali Yuga comes around and I can get God realized really fast, and all I'll have to do is do Keertan instead of all this tapasya. So Naradji explained this to Bhakti Mahadevi, that this is why Parikshit let Kali live. So anyway, Parikshit had followed the instructions of Uddhav. Meanwhile, Uddhav told the whole Bhagavatam, a 1 month recitation, and after that, all Krishna's queens they ascended to the divine abode. And all the other devotees of Krishna who were listening to that recitation of his Leelas, they entered into Krishna's Vastavi Leelas. Shandilya Maharshi also tells the meaning of Vraj. Vraj comes from the word Vyapti, which means Krishna is Vyapt in Braj. So as Kripaluji Maharaj says, like there's no difference between Nam and Nami, the name of Krishna, and Krishna who lives in his name. There's no difference. There's also no difference between Dham and Dhami, the abode and the one who resides in that abode. So Shri Krishna and Braj are not two, they are one. And Krishna's Vastavi Leelas are always happening. So those devotees entered into those eternal Vastavi Leelas, and they got to eternally experience those Leelas with Shri Krishna. So this is how Uddhavji had recited the Bhagavatam even before the first recitation by Shukdevji to King Parikshit. But this was not considered a fully public recitation. So it's not, the recitation of Shukdevji is considered to be the first public recitation where everybody got to hear and the whole world got to know about the Bhagavatam. So this concludes our discussion of the Bhagavatam that we had all this week. Now we have a couple of minutes left, so I'll do a couple minutes of Keertan and then we'll offer Bhog and do the Artis. राधे राधे गोविंद बोलो रे
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 राधे राधे गोविंद राधे गोविंद बोलो रे।
राधे 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 राधे गोविंद बोलो राधे गोविंद बोलो रे।
राधे राधे गोविंद बोलो रे।
राधे राधे गोविंद बोलो रे।
बोलो वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की
जय।
We'll offer bhog now. अब नार तरसाओ रसिया, आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया।
अब नार तरसाओ रसिया, आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया।
हो अब नार तरसाओ रसिया, आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया।
अब नार तरसाओ रसिया, आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया।
भोग लगाओ रसिया।
श्याम आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया।
यद्यपि यह सच है नहीं तुम कहा,
यद्यपि यह सच है नहीं तुम कहा।
भूख प्यास लागती रसिया।
भूख प्यास लागती रसिया।
भूख प्यास लागती रसिया।
भूख प्यास लागती रसिया।
तदपि भाव वश ब्रज छछिया लगी, चोरी करत फिरो रसिया।
तदपि भाव वश ब्रज छछिया लगी, चोरी करत फिर्यो रसिया।
चोरी करत फिरो रसिया।
चोरी करत फिर्यो रसिया।
चोरी करत फिरो रसिया।
चोरी करत फिर्यो रसिया।
भाव भरा केले का छिल, विदुरानी घर खायो रसिया।
भाव भरा केले का छिलका, विदुरानी घर खायो रसिया।
भाव भरा केले का छिलका।
भाव भरा केले का छिलका,
विदुरानी घर खायो रसिया।
विदुरानी घर खायो रसिया।
विदुरानी घर खायो रसिया।
श्याम विदुरानी घर खायो रसिया।
भावहीन दुर्योधन व्यंजन, नहीं टुक मन भायो रसिया।
भावहीन दुर्योधन व्यंजन, नहीं टुक मन भायो रसिया।
भोग लगाओ रसिया।
श्याम आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया।
जो रस शबरी के झूठे मुख,
जो रस शबरी के झूठे मुख,
जो रस शबरी के झूठे
झूठे मुख
बेर खाए पायो रसिया
बेर खाए पायो रसिया
बेर खाए पायो रसिया
बेर खाए पायो रसिया
जनकपुरी के राज भोग महा सोरस नहीं पायो रसिया
जनकपुरी के राज भोग महा सोरस नहीं पायो रसिया
सोरस नहीं पायो रसिया
सोरस नहीं पायो रसिया
भोग लगाओ रसिया
श्याम आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया
मानत हो भावहीन
हो मानत हो भावहीन हो
भावहीन हो
भावहीन हो
भावहीन हो
भावहीन हो
मानत हो भावहीन हो
मानत हो भावहीन हो
सुनो खरी खरी रसिया
सुनो खरी खरी रसिया
सुनो खरी खरी रसिया
सुनो खरी खरी रसिया
कत कृपालु पय पियो पूत नहीं न्याथे अब आ जाओ रसिया
कत कृपालु पय पियो पूत नहीं याते अब आ जाओ रसिया
याते अब आ जाओ रसिया
याते अब आ जाओ रसिया
अब नार तरसाओ रसिया
अब नार तरसाओ रसिया
रसिया हो रसिया मेरे मन बसिया
रसिया हो रसिया मेरे मन बसिया
रसिया हो रसिया
मेरे मन बसिया
रसिया हो रसिया
मेरे मन बसिया
रसिया हो रसिया
मेरे मन बसिया
रसिया हो रसिया
मेरे मन बसिया
रसिया हो रसिया
मेरे मन बसिया
भोग लगाओ रसिया
भोग लगाओ रसिया
रसिया हो रसिया
मेरे मन बसिया
रसिया हो रसिया
मेरे मन बसिया
रसिया हो रसिया
मेरे मन बसिया
आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया
श्याम आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया
अब नार तरसाओ रसिया भोग लगाओ रसिया
अब नार तरसाओ रसिया आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया
श्याम भोग लगाओ रसिया
श्याम आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया
बोलिए श्याम रसिया की
जय।
Radhe Radhe. On behalf of the entire Yugal Kunj family, I would like to thank Swami Nikhilanand for his 1 week here It was absolutely amazing, Bhaiya. And I don't think there is anybody who came to the lectures who did not learn something. And we learned a lot. So thank you till you are here the next time.
Radhe Radhe. And whoever missed the Keertan, the lecture series on Krishna Leela by our Swami Nikhilanand Bhaiya, it should be available on the YouTube. So please make use of it. Like Dipti Didi said, we had amazing experience, and a heartfelt thank you to Bhaiya for your presence and being with us and make us pursue in our spiritual path. So thank you one more time, Nikhilanand Bhaiya. Some innovative ideas Yugal Kunj is incorporating. Yugal Kunj has started Prasad Tiffin service, which is available to place an order online. So please visit our website, yugalkunj.org, to check the daily menus as well as to place an order. Another thing we have started is Yugal Kunj is offering homework help to the kids. You think if your children needs any kind of help with homework, we have that service also available twice a week. And we have Anup Dhingra. Please raise your hand, Bhaiya, so everybody knows. Everybody here knows, but he's the one who's going to be helping all the children. So see him for more details. And our Gurukul is starting pretty soon. So please register if you haven't, your children. Go on the website, or you can get more information at the front desk. And we have a Janmashtami celebration coming up. Everybody's excited for our drive-through. I don't know what this year program is going to be. So hang till, the Janmashtami celebration will be on Monday, August the 30th. And the new thing, the masks are required. The new CDC guidelines have updated, and Yugal Kunj adheres to all the rules. So please have your mask on while you're in Yugal Kunj. Now let's all stand for Aarti. Radhe Radhe.
आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की दुहुन सिर कनक मुकुट झलके दुहुन श्रुति कुंडल भल हलके दुहुन दिग प्रेम सुधा छलके जसीले बैन रसीले नैन गसीले सैन दुहुन मैनन मन हारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की दुहुन दृग चितवनी परवारी दुहुन लट लटकनी छवि न्यारी दुहुन भाव अटकनी अति प्यारी रसन मुख पान हसन मुस्कान रसन दम कान दुहुन बेसर छवि न्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की एक उर पीतांबर पहरे एक उर नीलांबर लहरे दुहुन उर नरमोतिन छहरे कांगनन खनक किंकिनी झनक नूपुरन भनक दुहुन रुन झुन धुनी प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती बनवारी नथवारी की। एक सिर मोर मुकुट राजे, एक सिर चुनरी छवि छाजे, दुहुन सिर तिरछे बल ब्राजे, संग ब्रज बाल लाडली लाल, बाह गल डाल कृपालु दुहुन मृग चारी की। बनवारी नथवारी की। आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की। आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की। श्री राम श्री राम श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजु मन, हरण भव भय दारुणम, नव कंज लोचन कंज मुख कर, कंज पद कंजारुणम। श्री राम कंदर्प अगणित अमित छवि, नवनील नीरद सुंदरम, पटपीत मानहु तडित रुचि शुचि, नौमि जनक सुतावरम, पटपीत मानहु तडित रुचि शुचि, नौमि जनक सुतावरम। श्री राम भजु दीन बंधु दिनेश दानव, दैत्य वंश निकंदनम, रघुनंद आनंद कंद कौशल चंद दशरथ नंदनम, रघुनंद आनंद कंद कौशल चंद दशरथ नंदनम। श्री राम सिर मुकुट कुंडल तिलक चारु, उदार अंग विभूषणम, आजानु भुज शर चाप धर, संग्राम जित खर दूषणम, आजानु भुज शर चाप धर, संग्राम जित खर दूषणम। श्री राम इति वदति तुलसीदास, शंकर शेष मुनि मनरंजनम, मम हृदय कंज निवास गुरु, कामादि खल दल कंजनम, मम हृदय कंज निवास गुरु, कामादि खल दल गंजनम। श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजु मन, हरण भव भय दारुणम, नव कंज लोचन कंज मुख कर, कंज पद कंजारुणम। श्री राम
बोलिए लाड
रामचंद्र की
जय।
पवन सुत हनुमान की
जय।
जगत गुरुत्तम श्री कृपालु महाप्रभु की
जय।
श्री भक्ति धाम की
जय।
श्री युगल कुंज की
जय।
जय जय श्री राम।